Hey everyone, what I'd like to do today is talk about the Apple Pencil Pro. So I purchased the Apple Pencil Pro at the start of June 2024. So I've had nearly 2 months with the accessory. So what I'd like to do in this video is just talk about what the Apple Pencil Pro is all about and give you my honest opinion about it, give you my experience of using it. I will preface this video by saying I am a terrible artist. I have the drawing skills of a 2-year-old and I'm a bad writer as well. But I bought the Apple Pencil Pro because I wanted to take notes with my iPad, and that's the main reason that I bought it, and it's what I've been using it for. Now, what I'd like to do at this point is kind of do it backwards. I want to start with the negatives because I think there are a few negatives that people have to be aware of. Firstly, is that this only comes with a 1-year warranty, and I think that's an issue because this has a non-replaceable battery. There's a lithium-ion battery in here, which it charges automatically at the top of the iPad here, where the top is now. Previously, the Apple Pencils would charge there, and now charges here. And it has a non-removable battery, and once the battery dies, well, that's it. That's quite bad, in my opinion, because really this should have some sort of replaceable battery. I think it's bad from an environmental point of view, and I think it's bad from a customer point of view as well, especially because you only have a 1-year warranty. And once that 1-year warranty has expired, then you're throwing this away. It's a little bit disappointing. I don't like that Apple's doing that. I don't like any company that does that, but that's what you're dealing with. The other thing is cost. This cost £130. £130 here in the UK. And I think that's overpriced. I mean, it's a similar price around the world, but I think they should make it a little bit cheaper. I think they should make it a little bit easier for people to pick it up, make it more affordable for everyone, but that's the cost of it. £130, $130 or whatever, and you get a 1-year guarantee. Quite annoying. Another big issue with this at the moment is compatibility. So previously, the Apple Pencils would charge here, now they charge here, and that presented a problem. It means that the older Apple Pencils, for the most part, many of them don't work with the new Apple iPad Pro M4 and the new Apple iPad Air with the M2 chip. What we've got instead is this. So the Apple Pencil Pro only works with the new Apple iPad Pro that was released in 2024 and the new Apple iPad Air that was released in 2024. Now, just be aware of that before you go and buy this. But I will say that from a compatibility point of view, I think tech companies in general have to make more of an effort to make products future-proof and also backwards compatible. I think that they should have tried to make it somehow where this version of the Apple Pencil worked with the iPad that came out 2 years ago, the iPad Pro that came out 2 years ago, just made it more compatible with older iPads. They've not done that, so that's what we have to deal with, unfortunately. So just be aware of it. It's not all doom and gloom. Oh, I'm taking screenshots here. It's not all doom and gloom, but these are things that you should be aware of before you spend any money. Okay, so we've got the Apple Pencil here, the Apple Pencil Pro, and that is how it charges. And you can see it's at 100%. The reason why it's always fully charged in mine is because I put it in the case and it just starts charging. But yeah, the magnet is very strong. It's strong enough that if you don't have a case, you can obviously walk around and, that's kind of what it's going to look like. Very good, very strong magnet. It doesn't come off easily, but it's very easy to take off as well. So that's really good. As far as connecting it, it's so easy. When you first connect this to your iPad, it just pops up and it says connect it, etc. And from the settings area, you can go in here and you've got a lot of options here. You can see, I'll just quickly jump over to the browser for a second. There we go, it's popped up finally. So these are the features of all the Apple Pencils, and you can see that all the Apple Pencils have got certain features: low latency, tilt sensitivity, but the new Apple Pencil Pro has many new features, and you can see them here. Double tap, which was available in the 2nd generation Apple Pencil, but now we have barrel roll, twisting the pencil, which is really good for artists. We have squeeze, we have haptic feedback, find my pencil, and there's engraving as well, which is not something I care about. But there's many new features here, and you can change them and adjust them and switch them on and off from here. So you've got show tool palette, and this is what happens when you squeeze. Lots of different options there, and you can change the sensitivity. Double tap, again, we've got lots of different options there. And then we've got the different options here: hover, tool preview, shadow, haptics, an option to only draw with the Apple Pencil, scribble, which is Apple's handwriting recognition tool. I found that very bad for my handwriting. Your experience might be better. It's a great feature on paper, but for me that did not work well. And then we've got pencil gestures, so you can go to the corner and then it automatically takes a screenshot and different things like that. So I think the idea is you do like this, like that, screenshot, different things like that. I haven't found myself using those that often. I'll be quite honest, I forget about all these features when I'm using it. I use it in a very simple way. But yeah, I think there's a lot of control here, a lot of customization options. So they give you great options as to how you use the pencil. And as far as using it, as I said, I'm terrible as from a writing point of view, from a drawing point of view. But this is a lot of fun to use. Now, obviously, you can draw like that. I'll zoom in the camera a little because I want to show you the tool palette. And to open up the tool palette, all you have to do is squeeze the Apple Pencil Pro. And this is where you can, I can choose the eraser like that. And I can change the size of the eraser. I can switch back to something else like that. And I can change the color as well. And there's also, if you see the little dots there, there's some more options there as well. Pencil settings, draw with finger. And actually what you can do is you can scroll around like that and there's more pen options as well. So as far as all the different options, as far as barrel roll, etc., these are not things that I would use, but I'm aware that if you're an artist, if you draw, these are things that you're really going to like. For me, the biggest selling point from all of this was the option to bring up that little menu, the little squeeze option. I found that to be one of the best things about it. I'm just clearing this there. I realize you can just start a new canvas area, but it's so easy to just do that. And this is one of the things I have found that I've loved about this pencil. When I got the new Apple iPad Pro, the first thing I bought was a stylus from Ugreen that cost about 20 odd pounds or so, and it was really good. It charged via USB Type-C, it charged wirelessly through the older iPads, and it worked really well. And from a writing point of view, it didn't feel as accurate as it does with the Apple Pencil Pro, which I guess is to be expected for a product which is like so much, £100 cheaper than what this is. But what I did find when I was switching between the Ugreen option and this Apple Pencil Pro was that I really quickly started to miss this menu option, to just squeeze it and double tap and things and just switch between different options, because it's just so easy to just do that. Just change to and start erasing things, change to a different type of pen, change the marker there, change the shade. Once you get used to that menu and once you get used to using it on a daily basis, etc., I found it very difficult to go back to the Ugreen. And believe me, I wanted to love the Ugreen because it was so cheap. It was so much cheaper, and I thought, like, why keep the Apple Pencil Pro? But I did find this menu to be amazing, and I think it is one of the biggest selling points of this. The menu is not hype. It's not just a nice, useful feature. For me, it's become an essential feature of using the Apple Pencil. From a notes point of view as well, like I said, I thought the Apple Pencil Pro was a little bit better than the third-party option from Ugreen. Get this keyboard away. I found this to be so much better for writing, but when my wife tried it, she found the Ugreen option to be completely unusable. For whatever reason, there was like gaps when she was writing. I didn't have that issue with the Ugreen, but I did think the Apple Pencil Pro was better. But I've just found this to be a little bit more intuitive. It just seems to feel more natural in the hand, and it's just easier to use. It really is. You've got the menu, and you can change to different options so easily. What is it to say about men and multitasking? I've just found it, in my personal experience with it, is that from a note-taking point of view, is that the Apple Pencil Pro was better. Maybe like 20, 30, 40% better from a writing point of view. But I also had that menu. And I think maybe those of you who are watching this who have used Apple Pencil before, who have an Apple Pencil just now, maybe there's not enough for you to upgrade from a previous generation to the Apple Pencil Pro. But from my experience, having used a third-party stylus and using this one, the biggest difference was the menu. I've just found that menu to be so useful, and it just becomes second nature to, if, for example, if I'm writing another, and then what I do is I mess up, then it's just, rather than mess about with a menu up at the top right, you can just quickly change like that and change it. Obviously, I'm doing all this quickly. I'm looking down, look at the camera. My writing is bad, but not normally as bad as this. But that kind of gives you an example as to how this menu is useful and how you can use it. And I'm using the Apple Pencil Pro in a very limited way. I'm using it a very basic way for taking notes. I have no doubt that if you're an artist, if you love drawing, if you love colouring in just for fun, then I think the menu is going to be a great selling point of this. Now, I did say that this is very expensive. There's no getting away from the fact that this is a very expensive product. The Apple Pencil Pro is very expensive. And it kind of was a splurge for me to buy this. But the way that I sold it to myself was, well, I spent like £900 or whatever it was. I bought it used for the new Apple iPad Pro. And an extra £100 for a product isn't that much more. Plus, I was looking at the usability and the functionality of using this over the next 2-3 years, hopefully without the battery dying. So that's how I sold it to myself. I was looking at this from a long-term point of view. I thought, I'll splurge. I want that functionality. I want those features. And yeah, I'm happy with my purchase, if I'm honest. So there's a few things, as I pointed out at the start, there's a few things not to like about this. The 1-year warranty is a little bit disappointing. The cost, the fact that the battery is non-removable. And I do appreciate that those things are kind of standard across the industry now, but I still think it's not good. And the compatibility, I do think Apple should have done better. But if we're talking purely about using the Apple Pencil Pro, I found it great to use. I found it fantastic for taking notes. And I love that menu, the squeeze feature, the gestures and all that. I just think it's a fantastic little thing to use. And I don't use it every day. I might only use it every couple of days. But when I do use it, I've always found it to be really good to use. I think it's a very pleasurable product to use. It's quite relaxing just sitting on the couch and just grabbing your pencil and just writing away. So yeah, that's my honest opinion of the Apple Pencil Pro. It's very expensive. It's overpriced, but there's a lot to love here. And if you are going to be spending, several hundred or a few, $500 on an Apple iPad, I guess there is a good argument for just spending a little bit more and getting the best pencil available on the market. So that's my thoughts on it, guys. I'd love to hear your opinion on it. And again, if cost is an issue, please do check out some of the third-party alternatives. I have no doubt that third-party companies will be rolling out solutions in the future that are more compatible with the newer iPads that come out this year. They're obviously going to release those, and maybe that's going to sway my opinion on the future. But right now, if you've bought the new Apple iPad Pro or the new Apple iPad Air, I think this is the accessory to buy. Thanks for watching, guys, and until next time, take care.